All right, we are good to go. We're going to do the presentation in English. Guess it's fine by everyone. Welcome to our multisig presentation. We are going to talk about multiple signatures. Going to take you for a walk into the beautiful land of multisig. If I can get some slides on the screen, that would be absolutely lovely. And how to triple your Bitcoin security with multisig. Who are we? I'm Rob Segers from Bitsaga, founder of Bitsaga, Belgian Bitcoin-only startup. We do both the hardware side and the consultancy side to secure your Bitcoin. I like to say that the main product is neither the hardware nor the consultancy, but the peace of mind at the end of the road that you achieve when securing your Bitcoin. Multisig can be a way to achieve that. We're going to talk about that today. If we can get the slides up, that would be great. So that's Bitsaga. We got a booth there. I'll talk a little bit more. Yeah, check out the website, definitely. There's a conference-only discount. Okay, we're good to go with the slides. Niek, you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Rob. So my name is Niek. I am the owner of BitPlanner, helping individuals and businesses onboarding on Bitcoin based on self-custody. I also developed a seed backup tool called Seedfan. It's a stainless steel solution, and if you want to find out more, be welcome in our booth on the other side of this floor. Back to you, Rob. And then,
what are we going to talk about today? So on the agenda, we're going to take a look at a little background, the different wallet types, the benefits and downsides of the different wallet types and how multisig tries to be a solution for that. And then actually, perhaps maybe most interesting, you can talk about Bitcoin all day. We're going to actually do. So everyone will be able to join in with Blue, the mobile, very popular mobile wallet app. If you already want to install it on your mobile devices, please do to follow along. Everyone will be able to create a multisig wallet to follow along. We'll discuss various tools, both on the hardware and software layer, with a little closing thoughts. And the goal really is to pierce through a little bit of the perceived complexity of multisig. Because it appears that multisig appears very complex in people's minds, and we're going to try to pierce through that. Niek, you want to take it off?
Thanks, Rob. So I'll do a little bit of background. So generally, if you own Bitcoin, you know the feeling of fear of losing your Bitcoin. And it all starts with the meme, take your Bitcoin off the exchange, because not your keys, not your coins, as Andreas here tells us. So, okay, we do that, and we buy, let's say, 5-6 years ago, a hardware wallet. We put that funds from the exchange on the hardware wallet, and there's a sense of release. Okay, fine, I'm not vulnerable for attacks, and my Bitcoin is safe. But after a few years, your Bitcoin appreciates in value, and also your knowledge increases. And we get certain worries. We will get into those worries later. And I'm quite sure that most of you know them. And Rob and myself are multi-signature bulls, maybe maxis, but we do see a big role for single signature as well. But in essence, we do think that single signature is not really in line with the philosophy of Bitcoin. And why? Because Satoshi Nakamoto developed a protocol to send value over the internet without a trusted third party. And if we have a single signature wallet, hardware wallet, we introduce a single point of failure, that's ourselves, and we trust a third party because we trust the software on that hardware wallet. And that's why we believe that multi-signature, especially if it's for your big stack, is absolutely better way to store your value. And it has become exponentially more simple. And that's what we are going to experience, because if you have that blue wallet, we are going to create our own multi-signature wallet in 10 minutes time. So let's review a few setup of wallets that we know. Generally, we distinguish 3 types of wallets. Single signature wallet, so you keep one private key and you can sign your transaction with that wallet. Second one, passphrase wallet. So you keep your private key and you add a passphrase to that private key, which creates a new wallet based on BIP39. And if you have the two inputs, you can log into your wallet and you can send Bitcoin. The third one, multi-signature, often used in 2 of 3, 3 of 5. So it uses generally more than one key, but not all the keys. You can set it up as you like, but that is the standard way to go. What we like is fault tolerance or redundancy. And each wallet setup has its own redundance or fault tolerance. And we are going to review first the backups of these three types of wallets with their redundancy. And that's why multi-signature has become popular, because mainly the redundancy on the keys, but there are more benefits. Also on the software side and also on the user error side. And we're going to review those as well. All right, so single signature wallet. The private key is essential to keep for yourself, private, but also have that always available. And if you have your private key, you have access to your Bitcoin. If you lose your private key, you lost access to your Bitcoin. Or if somebody steals that private key, he or she can take your Bitcoin. Second, generally popular setup is a passphrase wallet. As said, based on BIP39. What that does is you have two pieces of information. You have your private key and you have a passphrase. I've got quite some clients that like the passphrase setup. They vastly overestimate their memory. So I always recommend to make a backup, possibly in steel, but at least on paper, because memory is not too strong. So what happens? I lose a private key, I lose my Bitcoin. I lose my passphrase, I lose my Bitcoin. So why do people like passphrase wallets? That is, if the private key gets exposed, the attacker cannot immediately steal your Bitcoin until he or she also has that passphrase. So there's from that angle a benefit. But we also see, yes, increased security, but also increased risk, because we introduce two single points of failure. We generally call that a 2 of 2 multi-signature. It's not technically correct, but you need the two inputs in order to make a transaction. Now let's look at multi-signature. So how does that backup work? Well, first of all, what is multi-signature? That is several private keys, more than one, connected to each other in a wallet, in a script. As I said, you use more than one key to sign a transaction, but not all, because that gives redundancy. And setting up multi-signature does require more tools, 2 or 3 hardware wallets if you make a 2 out of 3 wallet, and also more knowledge. We do recognize that, so there is a place for single signature wallets, definitely, but not for your life savings, is our proposal. Okay, so let's look at the backups of multi-signature. So here you see this table, and if you lose one key, that's the beauty of multi-signature. You have 2 other keys, and you are still able to make a transaction. So the Bitcoin is still yours. If one key gets stolen, the attacker cannot steal your Bitcoin because there's a second key required. Even a little bit more information, but let's keep it simple. There's one catch, and that catch isn't often unknown in multi-signature land, or at least people who are still learning. I made the mistake myself. So if I've got 3 keys, then I create a wallet, and that wallet is essential if you lose one key. If you lose one key, you need that blue wallet, Sparrow wallet, to use the 2 other keys to make a transaction. If you lost your laptop, lost your phone, and lost the key, your Bitcoin is gone. Luckily, there's a very easy way to back up that wallet. That's called an output descriptor, which contains public wallet information. And if that gets exposed, that's a privacy risk, but at least not an opportunity for a hacker to steal your Bitcoin. Critical to backup. So, as I said, there are backup benefits in multi-signature, but there are also some physical risks in single signature and software risks in the single signature hardware wallet setup that I would like to review with you. First one, some physical risks. First assumption that everybody needs to have is, if you buy a device, that device sooner or later will fail on you. So no device works forever, which means we need to make a backup. And so if you don't make a backup, if you don't write down your seed phrase, Bitcoin is gone. So I've got a simple table. If you didn't write down your seed phrase and your wallet was broken, Bitcoin gone. Many people write down their passphrase, but don't test it. So if you have a broken device and this is the first time you re-enter that passphrase, I can tell you from experience, that's not really good for your heart. So you want to test that directly. So factory reset your device before there's any Bitcoin on it, re-enter that passphrase. Not many people do that. I always recommend backing up your seed phrase in steel. Yeah, some shameless promotion. Seedfan on the other side is a perfect solution for that. And then keep it in a safe location, because if that single key is exposed, your Bitcoin is gone. Finally, yeah, inheritance is really difficult with single signature, because if you are alive, you want to keep a secret, but if you are not alive, you want to get that secret at the right time, at the right place, at the right person, which is really difficult and can be done, but not so easy in single sig. So it can be a challenge. Now let's look at the software risks in a single signature hardware wallet setup. Whether we like it or not, we have to trust the code at certain steps when we use this hardware wallet. I wasn't aware of that, but I've learned that due time. And we are vulnerable for 2-3 types of attacks, but maybe more, but I want to mention 3. One is the supply chain attack. So upstream or downstream of the vendor, hardware or software is manipulated, aimed to steal your Bitcoin later on. Retirement attack is we have a vendor who is not trustworthy and has manipulated the software or hardware themselves. I'll get back on that more specifically. And of course, we know software attacks. So we have a malicious firmware update of the device, which can leak private keys, etc. So if you combine these 3, then there are several risk factors. And luckily, there are ways to prevent that if you use single signature. So first one, compromised seed generator. A seed generator in a device creates randomness, which is translated in a private key. But who assures me that there was randomness in the first place? You cannot check that. So you get an output, but you cannot check the input. So what we do is we have a manual entropy, for instance. We can roll dice, we can flip a coin, for instance with a cold card, but then still, if I roll these dice and the cold card gives me this seed or this private key, how do I know that that input is linked to the output? You can check that if you have another brand, for instance a passport or whatever, a seed signer, and you replicate the input and you get the same output, then you can rest assured that that private key is linked to that entropy input. So there are other risks if you use a single signature hardware wallet only, because you can have a malicious receive address. So if you make a transaction, you maybe want to check the transaction on another device. So it's manageable, but if you want to do it right, it's extra work. We always check send addresses. That's something I hope we all do. And finally, if you do a software update, check, PGP check, or in another way, check that the software is valid. If we do these kind of things that I mentioned, and we use a second device to check on the seed, entropy, on transactions, we are basically in multi-signature land. So if you do single signature right, you are basically in multi-signature land without the benefits and the redundancy of multi-signature. So I'm arriving with my last slide. Then we'll go do something. So we're going to create our own multi-signature wallet. But let's review how multi-signature mitigates these physical risks, software risks, but also user error risks. Because there's no undo button in the Bitcoin. So if we do something, we cannot call. So we need to make sure that what we do is correct. So first of all, as I said, you can lose a key, you have your Bitcoin. So a key can be stolen, you still have your Bitcoin. If you geographically distribute your keys, then that's a platform for inheritance planning, because you can share a part of a secret with one person and distribute that knowledge across entities. Software risks, if you use 2 types of devices, you decentralize the code of your Bitcoin ownings. So that is a very, very important concept. Even if you have one compromised device, assume that one is compromised, you can still safely use your multi-signature wallet without having the risk of somebody else stealing your Bitcoin. So this is a very important step. I think you can use 2 of the same brand devices. There's just less benefit of having a distributed software stack. And finally, you are obliged in a multi-signature to double check your transaction on 2 devices. So that prevents fee errors, that prevents send or receive address errors or amount errors, at least significantly, because you have to double check that. So let me close off with the comment that multi-signature is not for everybody. You do need to know what you're doing. But if you know how to work with a single signature wallet, then it's a small step to learn how to work with a multi-signature wallet. And start small, with small amounts, make the mistakes, just get accustomed to distributed keys, etc. And once you have that feeling of trust, you can increase maybe your balance on that multi-signature setup. It gives a peace of mind, I can tell you from personal experience. So I'd like to hand over to Rob.
All right. So we can really be talking about multisig all day. May already sound like a bit much. There's even a lot more to it. So the best way to learn is to actually do, right? So if those who want to follow along, the blue mobile app on your device, everyone will be able to join in and create a basic multisig wallet and gain a little bit of trust in such a setup. I will have to be doing the next ones. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing. There's really 2 main kinds of multisig wallets, 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 5. The 2 out of 3 being the basic ones. So there's 3 keys, and you need 2 to create a transaction. We're going to create the wallet. We're going to add 3 keys. Then we'll look at how receiving and sending from that multisig wallet works. And backup and restore. Everyone will be able to join in the first 2, create the wallet and adding the keys. Receiving and sending, that'll be just demonstration because we would have to share Bitcoin with everyone, and I don't have nearly that much Bitcoin to share. So, considering the many options we have in setting up multisig wallet, there's really a lot of tools. Most of you might be familiar with some of these. Sparrow and Spectre, the desktop wallets, very popular ones, very advanced, more basic. Nunchuck and Blue. Nunchuck really angled towards the multisig, very user-friendly. Blue, very OG, great on mobile, simple UI, really great to learn to keep your Bitcoin in self-custody. And Thea on the top right. New player, iOS only for now, really great for user experience. They really focus on onboarding new people into this land of multisig. And then Bitcoin Keeper in the top left, also pretty new player. A lot of documentation they provide inside the app. They really guide you through onboarding to multisig. And the main gist of these tools that I want to convey is, with the exception of Blue, these are all born 2020 or later. So if you're from the 2017 bull cycle, you're older than these tools. So we really want to indicate that these tools, they are new. It's been a big change in multisig land. Some of them provide collaborative custody, where somebody else holds 1 key for you. And they really also enable, especially Keeper, Nunchuck, and Thea, a guided setup where a key custodian helps you in managing your multisig wallet. So really, a lot has changed over the past very recent 5 or so years. Then when we look at the hardware side of doing multisig, there's really a lot of devices. Every hardware wallet can be a key in multisig. But the great part is with the air-gapped devices, air-gapped being it's never connected by wire through to a laptop, never connected. So it's a security measure, the air-gapping, but it really enables the QR workflow. Everyone knows making your transactions, receiving, sending by just sending a QR code. Well, because these more secure air-gapped devices now have a camera, everything you can do can now be done by scanning QR codes. Receiving to your Bitcoin address, sending with partially signed Bitcoin transactions. Again, a very new upgrade to the protocol, late 2018, first implemented 2019, so very young. Again, also on the protocol layer. Addresses can be a QR code, and now also your seed, your private key, either 12 or 24 words, can be expressed as a QR code. So every step along the way, receiving, sending, transactions, your private key, everything can be expressed as a QR code. So that really enables pointing your camera at the thing you're doing, and it's a really easy flow compared to a couple of years back. So both on the software layer and on the hardware layer, many big changes in making it more accessible. So as discussed with the software tools, we'll be using Blue. Those who want to follow along, grab your phones, open up Blue Mobile Wallet, and perhaps Niek, you want to follow along. So when you open up your Blue Wallet on mobile, the first screen that you see is...
Everybody who wants to join in, is that app open?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, those who want to follow along the Blue Wallet. So it's really easy. There's always an indication where to click. The empty Blue app, there's no wallets, there's no transactions yet. So when you click on the top right, you will be creating your first wallet in Blue. And then you'll be given this screen, and you will be able to give your wallet a name and select, okay, just a Bitcoin wallet that we all know, or a multi-sig vault with multiple keys with all the benefits we just discussed. It'll default give you a 2 out of 3 multisig, the most basic version. The next step is a 3 out of 5. Don't deviate from these two standards unless you really know what you're doing. These are tested and valid, tested, and don't deviate from these standards. So let's start with a 2 out of 3 multisig wallet. And then you'll be given the screen to add your 3 keys. We're going to create a 2 out of 3 multisig wallet. And for the first key, we will be creating that key as a hot key. Hot meaning connected to the internet just on your device. So when you then click Create New, screen will pop up. A new private key will be generated on your phone. So it's going to be a hot key. You'll see your 12 words, and your first key will be created out of your 3 keys. And then you click Done, and you will be able to go to your next key. So imagine at home, most of us, I guess, have a hardware wallet, right? Let's assume for now that it's the premium Foundation Passport, which enables, with its camera, the QR-based flow. So this is very similar for different hardware wallets. We're just going to show the flow for a passport. So when you turn on your passport, this is the screen you see. When you go down to Manage Account, connect your wallet, and you're going to select which wallet you're connecting to. Currently, we're working with Blue. You select multisig. You select Export by QR code. And then you'll be given a QR code. On any wallet, you do this. And now you can just point your cameras at this QR code, which is the public key of the second key. And this key will be added as a second key to your multisig wallet. Niek, you want to follow along? Someone wants to follow along? I got to check. All right. So the first key was the hot key on our mobile device. Second keys from the hardware wallet we got laying around at home. We export the public key. That's this QR code. You scan it and you import that as a second key in your device. All right? Wait, just one more second. Yeah, we got more people joining in. Absolutely follow along because it's really easy, folks. The QR codes, it's awesome. All right, zoom out a little bit, and then for our third key, let's imagine. Okay, we got a. Yeah, you want. Okay, let's go. Let's go back 1 second for sir. Got it. Okay, we got it. Yeah. One more. That's great. Popping in. All right. Let's. So we've added our first key, hot on our device. Second key, the QR code from the hardware wallet we got laying around at home. And then for our third key, let's imagine, okay, I only got one hardware wallet. I really like this multisig, the benefits that it gives. Let me get a seed signer, off-the-shelf device. Really great, and again, for the QR-based flow, camera on the back. So here I'll be demonstrating, okay, you buy a seed signer, you plug it in at home, and what you first see is this screen. And the screen, you go to Tools. I'm going to go over this quickly. This is what you do at home. You click New Seed, 12 words is enough. I know that you don't put your seed into any online device. And then we're going to select Export the XPub, just like we did on the passport, just like you would do on your hardware wallet at home, which will show a QR code. Or, if you've already done that, you can express your seed as a private key, you express your seed as a QR code on paper, on steel, and you just point your seed signer to your private key, and boom, it's loaded into your seed signer. So that's the two flows. When you have your private key on your seed signer, you select Export the XPub, like we did on our passport, like you do with any other hardware wallet. You select multi-sig, native SegWit. Let's not get into the protocol differences here. XPub is a privacy consideration, not a security consideration. They can view our transactions, XPub details, some text, and then our XPub, the public key of our private key, again, expressed as a QR code. So this is our third key, which, again, we'll be able to add. In blue, let's select Import for our third key, and then you're going to select Scan or Import File again, and just point your blue wallet cameras at the QR code. If we can get some thumbs up from the room, that would be great. And our third key will then be added into our multisig wallet. We are following along. One more. I'll wait just a couple more seconds for those. All right. So that's it. We've added 3 keys. We've created a multisig wallet, and we've added 3 keys. First key is hot on our device. Second key is from the hardware wallet, our passport we got laying around at home. Third key is from our seed signer, the key we just created or loaded just by pointing at it. 3 keys added to the wallet. Let's go ahead and create that wallet, and that's it. You've just created a multisig wallet. Created it, added the 3 keys, and for the next part, you'll not be able to follow along because I would need to send Bitcoin to you, and again, I don't have that much Bitcoin. So sending and receiving is really, really easy. Again, so now you have in blue, you have created your wallet. You can select that wallet by just tapping on it. This is the screen you see, no transactions yet. And then you have the 2 main functions of Bitcoin, right? Receive and send. So before we can send, we need to receive. So if you click receive, this is Bitcoin address, again, expressible as a QR code. So from your other hardware wallet, whatever, you're on an exchange, you still got some Bitcoin. You send your Bitcoin to this QR code. Excuse me. So, and then once it has arrived, after some blocks have confirmed, boom, you will see in your multisig wallet, you now have some Bitcoin. It arrived with 2 confirmations. So now you've received some Bitcoin and you can send. When you don't want to send, from your multisig wallet, you click send. You send where? You say scan. You scan another QR code. Give a little label, select the fee, click next, and this is where the magic happens of multisig. So because blue knows it already has the first key, the hot key, on its device that we just created on the device, it will already add the first signature. Because in a 2 out of 3 multisig wallet, you need 2 signatures. And the first signature, blue has already added for you because it has that key. And we need another signature from one of our hardware wallets. So then you select provide signature for that second key. And this is what you see. For example, here in the seed signer flow, when you provide signature, again, another QR code will be shown, which is a PSBT, a partially signed Bitcoin transaction, a Bitcoin transaction with 1 signature. We're going to add our second signature. So that's a PSBT information, the input, some fee. You will going to send this many Satoshis to this Bitcoin address, and then you click approve this partially signed transaction, and it will add the second transaction, second signature to that transaction. And again, this transaction is now 2 signatures and expressible as a QR code, which you can then import into blue again by just pointing your camera at that PSBT. Your second signature, it will recognize, has now been added. First signature I added, second signature my hardware wallet added for my cold key, and then I can confirm, and Send now a little overview of the amount to which address you're going to send, and then boom, confirm your Bitcoin has been sent. We've created a wallet, we've added 3 keys, 1 hotkey, through cold keys, received some Bitcoin to it, and sent some Bitcoin from it by just pointing at QR codes, right? That was the entire flow. So that's what we've done, created wallet, added keys, sent and received. Now, of course, a very important part, you want to back up, as well as your, just like your single signature hardware wallet, your multi-signature wallet is also important to back up the output descriptor that Niek just discussed. So let's look at that backing up. When you select your wallet, in the top right, you got your 3 dots, information about your wallet. When you scroll down, you click Export Backup, and again, another QR code. This is information, the public keys, derivation path, some technical information. You can save it as a QR code, and that's it. When you lose your phone, and you get another device, you just scan this QR code, and that's all the wallet information. The 3 public keys are loaded into your device, and you have restored. This is how you back up, and you can restore it just like that by pointing a QR code. So that was the entire flow to create a multi-sig wallet, adding the keys, receiving from it, sending to it, and it really, very excitingly to me personally, captures the flow, the changes that have happened in multisig over the past years, because the PSBTs, expressing a Bitcoin transaction with partial signatures, is really a pretty recent development, 2018, 2019. On the software layer, very recent big change. On the protocol layer, that was. On the software layer, a lot of new recent apps. Nunchuck, Bitcoin Keeper, Thea, all very recent 2020 and later apps. And then also on the hardware layer, the camera-based wallets that enable the QR scanning. Lots of the recent wallets, they're all very recent. So a lot of changes on the 3 layers that really enabled, that make multisig a lot more accessible. It's still probably not for everyone, but in general, the public that it's applicable to has grown broadly. 5, 6, 7 years ago, you want to do a multisig transaction in Electrum, it's not fun. It's not. So the principles of learning, getting a little bit comfortable before you do your first transaction, do your big stack, still apply, start small, get some confidence. But in general, I think I want to grasp a final concept of probably remember your first Bitcoin transaction or your first large transaction. It's scary. You're a little anxious that you did something wrong, and you got to do a little leap of faith. And I feel that with many people standing before multisig, it's like, oh, it's scary. I'm anxious to do this. It's new, and you got to take a little leap of faith. And then when you emerge on the other side, you'll feel more security, more self-custody, and more peace of mind, and just more freedom overall, which is what this is all about. That was basically it. Thank you for your attention. Any more questions about the multisig wallet setup? We got a booth here for the rest of the day, and also that change is not on these slides. Contact us through BitSaga, BitPlanner. This is what we do. We help people with Bitcoin, and multisig is one of the ways we can do it. Thank you. You had one question? Yeah. So what does Blue do, if I grasped it correctly, to prevent malicious software, right? So one of the most basic must-have things is being open source. But it's a very valid question. So because we are using multisig, we are mitigating that attack vector, the software we use. Either that's Blue or Nunchuck, Bitcoin Keeper, Sparrow, Spectre, doesn't really matter. Your question is still valid. What do you do to mitigate any software maliciousness? So it's not specific to Blue, but what you can do is verify the software. Blue, I'm not sure, but Sparrow, for example, you can download it from the GitHub, from the open source repository, and then verify the download by signature from the developer. You can validate the checksum. There's different steps that you can take to validate, verify, don't just verify, that the software hasn't been tampered with. You will never be entirely sure. It increases the certainty. So it's a very valid question, and then multisig just tries to mitigate that by not completely relying on the software. Do you want to still add something?
Yeah, some short thing to add. So just because efficiency, we added a hotkey in Blue. Personally, I wouldn't do that in my own situation. I would always use 3 cold keys. And if you do that, then Blue is just the wallet coordinator with only, privacy-sensitive information and no way to leak the private key. So I think that's, for a person who wouldn't know that, that's something that I would like to add. Any other questions? No? Well, happy to answer any questions you would like to discuss one-on-one on the other side of this floor. Thanks for your attendance, and have a nice day.